NBC News political director and chief White House correspondent Chuck Todd has to join me once again on the phone because he's on the move. So with another good morning to you, Chuck. The president once again pledging to listen and learn. What impression do you think he's making on the assembled leaders there at the summit?
Well, look, this was always going to be a tough conversation that he was going to have because it is ingrained in the culture of Latin American politicians to be angry at America and to lecture and criticize the United States. They've not liked policies of the past, and it's something that President Obama probably had to sit there and take. That was certainly an impression we were left with yesterday. It sounds like today that the meeting with the Central American leaders went pretty well. The White House was happy that Cuba wasn't even brought up, and so they see that as a vindication of the fact that he has gotten the message across on Cuba, that he is, opening the door, that he's starting the process of what he believes will be a long process, but a process nonetheless to eventually have some normalized relations with Cuba. So, and the fact that these guys didn't bring it up there, I think that tells them that they're starting to warm up to Obama and listen to him a little bit.
Okay. Let's talk about the theatrics, shall we call it, with Hugo Chavez staying in the spotlight, shaking President Obama's hand, giving him the book. Did he steal the show?
It's interesting. Right now, yes, he certainly did steal the show. He's a very media-savvy guy. He knows how to find a TV camera. Long-term, he may not have helped himself very much politically in the region with his fellow Latin American leaders because of the antics a little bit. And second, when you look at the long term, and this is what the Obama administration emphasizes, and we'll be able to follow it, I think, in the next year, but they believe that behind the scenes they did make progress. They knew that they had to sit there and take it a little bit when it comes to anger that a lot of Latin American leaders have had with they felt ignored, frankly, over the last 8 years and arguably the last 16 years. It's a bipartisan aspect to this. And they wanted to send a message to these guys, okay, we will listen. We're not going to brush off a Chavez when he comes up to us, but we're also not going to totally embrace him either. And I think they got that message across pretty well. It seems as if the other leaders, the non-Chavezes of the world, did warm up to the president.
Okay. Can you give me a preview of what we expect about 40 minutes or so from now if the president runs on time in this news conference?
I think it's running fairly on time, and my guess is he's going to try to sum up. I mean, we talked about this earlier, Alex. Try to sum up everything he's learned in these introductory trips overseas. He's hit now Europe, a little bit of Asia. Now he's dealing with Central and South America. He's touched a lot of important aspects to national security and foreign policy. And so I think he's going to attempt to paint a picture of what he's learned and maybe we might start seeing the shaping of what is the Obama doctrine. You always hear that about presidents, right? We have the Bush doctrine and all this stuff. And maybe that's what we'll get a glimpse of today is a little bit more of his vision that he now sees after meeting with, I think he's up to something like, he's been in the same room with some 60 world leaders in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, pretty incredible numbers there. Okay, Chuck Todd, thank you very much for covering it all live for us. We appreciate that.